Nice tits, bitch.
Hello, fiends and fiendettes. Welcome to the movie review portion of episode 104 of the best horror podcast on 7voltmedia.com and the world, Scream Fiends. I am your host, Xander, and with me once again is Russ.
Hey, everybody.
So,
Been a long time coming.
It's been a long time. It's been a while. Let's dive right in. This episode's movie of the week is 2018's Overlord.
3 months ago, I was cutting grass in my front yard. And the mailman shows up with a letter from the army. Now I'm here. No idea where I'm gonna end up.
Welcome to France.
What happened here? Some questions don't have good answers.
There's a lot of soldiers out there, and there's only 4 of us.
Find out what's inside that compound. What is this?
A 1,000-year army.
These 1,000-year soldiers. What's behind that wall?
What do you do with those people?
They have been given a purpose.
This movie is starring Jovan Adepo as Boyce, Wyatt Russell as Ford.
Wyatt Russell as Kurt Russell as Ford.
That's more accurate, yes. Matilda Olivier
As Kelly McDonald as
Chloe.
as Chloe.
And Pilu Asbeck. He has one of those weird, like, the A and the E's are combined.
Yeah,
How do
Pelu
you-
Asbeck as Michael Shannon as Waffner.
Waffner. It was written by Billy Ray and Mark
Cyrus?
L. Smith.
Billy Ray Cyrus?
Yeah, just Billy Ray.
Did
He goes by Billy Ray now.
You go by Billy Ray?
Yeah.
After he was in that David Lynch movie, he's like, I gotta do some more of this.
Miley Ray.
You know he's in a David Lynch movie.
Billy Ray Cyrus is?
Yeah.
Which one?
Wild at Heart, I want to say.
Oh. I remember bits and pieces of Wild at Heart. I could not tell you what goes on besides Nicolas Cage is a madman.
He's so good in that movie. I don't care what anybody says.
And directed by Julius Avery. Now, this movie is probably most well known as, when it was originally announced, it was going to be part of the Cloverfield universe.
I think it's Mulholland Drive, actually.
Oh.
Wait, time out for a second. This movie is going to be part of the Cloverfield line of movies?
It was.
Oh.
And that's, I mean, it is a bad robot production.
Yeah.
Produced by J.J. Abrams. And I'm wondering if it wasn't part of the universe because there's just no way, like, I don't know how they would have made this movie into a Cloverfield type movie.
So I haven't seen Cloverfield Drive yet, or whatever it's called, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet. But I've seen Cloverfield.
Mm-hmm.
And is there another one?
Cloverfield Paradox, that Netflix.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I've heard bad things about that one.
It's okay. I mean, that's the best you can say about it, is that it's okay.
Yeah.
It kind of messes up the whole... Like, I think what people wanted was a cohesive universe.
Yeah.
And
It's more like
10 Cloverfield Lane is... It's not quite that, but you can kind of... It's more tangential than, like, oh, we opened up a realm, tying different universes, and so anything goes, anything makes sense.
So Cloverfield basically is just supposed to be like a Twilight Zone thing where it's like they just get the name Cloverfield, but it could be anything, just some
Basically,
weird shit
yeah.
happens.
So Cloverfield Paradox, if you haven't seen it, they open up a rift in the space-time multiverse.
Oh.
The multiverse.
Sure.
So, like, there's an alternate Earth, alternate realities, and the Cloverfield monster is part of that one reality.
So that's how it got here. Is
I don't know.
Man.
It's just kind of goofy that way.
I just pretend to. I don't know what you're talking about. That movie never came out.
But yeah, I guess I can't really see how they would have tied this movie into that, because there's no, like, it doesn't have anything to do with space
At all.
Yeah.
Well, they don't explain at all what that goop is.
Right.
Just that France has been sitting on it and never thought to refine it into juice.
Super zombie
juice.
But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So this movie begins sort of as a straight up
War movie.
Yeah. Takes place during World War II. We're quickly introduced to the
Ford, Tivit, Boyce, Jacob, I can't remember, Rosenthal, I think his last name might have been, and then Dawson.
Yeah, and they're part of the 101st Airborne.
I'm not sure exactly. I thought that's what he was writing. He was like scratching into the side of the airplane.
Definitely was.
Yeah, 101 Airborne.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Yeah, they're paratroopers going off to jump somewhere in France.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they have the specific mission, right? They find out there's some sort of like radio tower on top of a church, and they're like, oh yeah, them damn Nazis, they're such monsters, they'll put stuff on churches. That's gist of it, and accurate for the most part, I would say.
Yeah.
But
see what they put under churches.
soon they are right in the heat of battle. Bombs going off in the air. Mortar. Is that what they're called? Mortars?
No, those are called flak.
Flak. So their plane is getting exploded. And
hence the term flak jacket.
They decide they need to jump. Well, they're still waiting for the light to turn green.
Yeah. They're trying to hit their jump point, and it's like, if you've seen any documentaries on this, or it was a fucking catastrophe trying to get these guys in their right spots, just because, like, planes blowing up, bombers, I mean, you know, it's pretty gruesome. Like, they did a pretty good job capturing that whole, like, crazy parachute thing. Like, have you seen the Band of Brothers series?
Yeah.
It's kind of like all that kind of shit. And I think they really did, like, for the first part of this, they did a pretty good job capturing the whole war movie or like war series kind of feel.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I don't know. It uses a lot of that CGI, where it kind of takes you out of it. It's not quite as like realistically visceral as, say, Saving Private Ryan.
I kind of thought like it would have been kind of cool if they toned the color down like Saving Private Ryan to give it like that look. Just to kinda, it'd be kind of cool. I bet you could probably adjust your TV to make it look like that, just to kind of see what that would be like.
And I think that would have been more effective because this visually it looks like modern and
the lighting and everything really seems like
almost like and then it's almost like a computerized background.
It kind of feels like simulated.
But it's not terrible. I mean, it's just I would have preferred to go in a more like
we're gonna run into a lot of homages in this movie, and they should have just done it. They should have took it that next step and said, let's make Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan, and add zombies. That's what they should have done.
So the action is, I mean, it's over the top. Like right when they start getting hit with the bullets flying up through the floor, it's like bodies are exploding, but you can't discern like who is getting done in. It's just like
I'm trying to remember
bodies exploding. Like
the anti-aircraft round. If I can't remember exactly, but it might have been like a 20 millimeter round.
Sure.
Which is like this big. So I mean, the fact that there's not much of the body left when it like riddles that thing is pretty accurate.
But I just mean like it's I don't know. It's kind of like it doesn't have that same thing where it's like, and I'm again comparing this to Saving Private Ryan, where it's like you see the guy with his leg blown off. It still has that, but
so when you're like with Saving Private Ryan, you had guys storming a gigantic beach.
Yeah.
And this, you had a bunch of guys shoved in a tube.
Sure.
So like to bring a camera over to one guy to like see his leg missing probably would have been difficult because they're all laying on top of each other. They just got riddled with anti-aircraft fire. You know. I
guess what I'm getting at is it felt to me like
you may as well just done a cutaway.
No. That they were just having bodies explode for the sake of having bodies explode.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So what I saw was like, it wasn't so much like bodies were exploding; it was just like you got like blood spurt explosions. Like it looked like it was very CG looking. It looks, like it looked like video game blood explosions.
Definitely wasn't like squibs or anything like that. It was the CGI blood.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say I saw bodies exploding until at one point they got hit with some flak, and it like shot that one guy across the fuselage, and he hit the other side of it and fell. Then you kind of saw some damage on him, and it was pretty chaotic. They did a good job capturing the chaos. So the special effects for that stuff didn't bother me so much because the lights were flashing. There were so many explosions going on. My eyes didn't like focus on any of that as much as it would have like when you see a guy just get shot in a movie where they're using fake, not using scripts. It's just like, well, you see that? That's not real.
Sure.
That's not a squib. But this was hard for me to tell because I'm just there's
so much is going on at once. Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. The actors did a great job of looking. I mean, I almost smelled shit. Like it looked like they were shitting their pants. Like it was pretty good. I gotta imagine like when you're in a fuselage that's not moving and there's a green screen around and nothing's happening and then you have to try to act scared.
Sure, yeah.
That's fucking amazing actually when you think about it. Okay, look scared. Okay, like a boogeyman. No, it's like think like you're being shot at by a million guns and bombs going up. It's like, okay, that'd be tough.
So yeah, prior to this, we get a little bit of character exposition, or character development, kind of. You get Boyce, who is sort of, he's not really cut out for war. It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
He's more of like the gentle soul.
Yeah, and they kind of razz him for it.
You got the East Coast dude that's just shit talking.
Every East Coast dude in a World War
Yeah.
II movie you've ever seen. He's
Chewing his
also-
gum.
He's also the sniper, and he also says, "Put me within a mile of Hitler, and this war will be over."
Yeah.
Like every sniper in every World War II movie ever. Which, I mean, maybe they all said that, but it's kind of like, okay, I've heard that one before. Pepper, what's that guy's name? Pepper. Who's in Saving Private Ryan? He played the sniper.
I
Pepper
don't
something.
know. I don't know.
The sniper's got talent.
You got the photographer, who I don't remember his name.
What was it? Chase.
Chase. And
He's the Oppum of the group, if you remember Oppum from Saving Private Ryan.
And then there's Russell.
Wyatt Russell.
Wyatt Russell.
He plays Corporal Ford.
Who is the
Oh my God! I can't.
too tough for his own good.
It's his. He is
Kurt
Kurt
Russell.
He's just like, he looks just like him. It's crazy.
And it's not just that he looks spitting image.
he
of him.
talks like him. Oh, it was awesome.
He acts like him.
I loved it.
Like,
I loved it.
but he has one-liners, and they just don't come across as well as like Kurt Russell's one-liners. It's, I don't know. There's not as much character behind it. Like, I don't know. He's not a bad actor.
They were impactful enough for me, especially like when he leans in that one time and says, "I'm going to win this one."
Sure.
And I was just like,
sure.
I mean, I think that's when I was starting to do the fan myself hands because I couldn't handle the heat of that. Is Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell.
Yep.
I want them to remake every Kurt Russell movie with this guy. Like I was saying, it's like I want there's like to genetically like clone the Russells so that my greatest of great grandkids can have, current Russell.
So the back of the plane is blown out.
Sucking some people out.
And Ford grabs Boyce and throws him out of the plane.
Yep. Who's their captain? That one guy.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
I can't think of his name. I've seen him in a lot of things.
Yeah, and
he needs to be the new Candyman.
Yes, you mentioned that, and I 100% agree. He would make a great Candyman in the Jordan Peele reboot. Jordan Peele produced reboot. So yeah, and that
Bokeem Woodbine.
Boyce falling through the sky, twisting and turning, I thought was really well done. The sense of chaos and just shit is blowing up all over the place. And he eventually pulls his parachute at the last minute, which I thought the things they hooked themselves to, I thought that was supposed to pull the chute for them.
Yeah, but after the back of the plane blew out, I think his zip line thing fell off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why that.
But I am correct in that's what that's for.
Yep.
So yeah, he pulls his chute at the last minute and lands in a body of water.
Yep. Gets stuck, cuts his chute off, swims ashore, he loses his cover. Well, I guess no. I think the Marines call it cover. I don't think the Army call it. I don't know. He loses his helmet.
Sure.
But then he kind of wanders around.
And then he finds
Timbit.
well, he finds all three of them.
Tivit,
Chase,
and Ford.
Yeah. And then it has to be another one
Dawson.
because they're walking.
Dawson.
And then all of a sudden there's a click.
Dawson's talking about writing a book and steps
That's
on a
right.
landmine.
Yes. Steps on a landmine.
And Boyce has just been next to an explosion on a plane, thrown out of an airplane, almost drowned. Then he gets shell shocked by this thing. I have to say he does a very good job of looking fucked up. Like when that thing's going off and he's trying to like figure out his bearings, and Corporal Ford's just screaming, "Walk directly to me, poking around, you fix your bayonet, blah blah blah." And like, it's just like watching him. Like you see, he's not cut out for it. He's very convincing.
Yeah,
I thought he was very very convincing in this, and so he starts poking the ground, trying to figure his way over there. And then Timbit needs to do the same thing. He goes, "Can one of you guys come get me now?" He goes, "Get your bayonet on and poke the ground. And if you feel something hard, don't push too hard." He goes, "Well, how hard is too hard?" He goes, "You'll know."
Yeah, you'll know.
So they make their way back to, they're making their way towards what they think is the village. Then they run into Kelly MacDonald, but it's not Kelly MacDonald. It's Madison Olivier or something that she's playing. What's her name again?
Chloe.
It's funny how some of these people like look like other people. Like I thought, I knew it wasn't Kelly MacDonald, but it looked like a lot like her. I was like, who is? And so, but they're no.
Yeah, she is a French woman who is out scavenging.
Yep. Then
they find a bag. She has like a bunch of necklaces and
jewelry and
goodies, treasure goodies,
and a rabbit for making the food.
A rabbit?
Yeah, there's a rabbit in there.
Oh, I didn't see a rabbit.
Well, they didn't pull it out. The Germans do, and she runs into them.
Oh.
But so she leads she's like, "Are you with the Germans?" And she spits because she hates the Germans. And the Nazis. She leads them back to the village that we find out too that Boyce can speak French.
Yes.
And so then they go to the village, and she is kind of sneaking them around, and she gets caught by some SS.
And the captain, I don't know what rank the Nazis have.
I don't know.
He's a higher up.
Yep.
Waffner.
Waffner.
He seems to take special interest in her and
she's being harassed at first, then he comes over and makes them stop and sends her on her way.
Yep.
And then they end up sneaking into her place, and
where her aunt and little brother,
Paul,
very young brother.
Yeah, and they're her really sick aunt. She sounds like she's throwing up out of her butt in her little room. And they're all like, "What's going on in there?" And,
she's very sick.
She's very sick. La French. And then they go upstairs, and they're trying to figure out a plan of attack because they have to take this tower out. They're like, "There's only 4 of us, and there's like 10 Germans for each one of us." And Ford's like, "We got to do it." And Boyce is like, "I'll do it. I'll do my duty." And Timbit's like, you can't even kill a mouse."
They tell a story about
exposition about a mouse and how he wouldn't kill it. Now came back and made a poop on their captain's pillow. Then the captain had him running up and down the hill. Maybe it was Currahee. But and so they're up and down, and so Timbit's like, "You can't be a soldier. You're dumb. I'm from New York." And then Boyce like, "Hey."
That's probably my biggest complaint with this movie is that it spends a lot of time on needless, not even exposition. Well, it's kind of exposition, but it's trying to be a movie.
At this point, it's still a war movie.
Yeah, I feel like it's taking itself more seriously than it needs to.
It does feel that way.
But I also don't know if it might be a good thing because it's sort of it makes it more unique. Because
I liked that it seemed like it took itself very seriously.
Yeah.
Like it felt like it could have been an episode of Band of Brothers.
That's what I'm saying. Like it makes it more unique because it's not just a
Iron
sort
Sky,
of goofy
Nazis on the moon
monster movie.
Yeah.
You could literally confuse it with a World War II movie.
Yeah.
At this point. Like nothing really out of the ordinary is going on.
Yeah.
Oh, they do find this like dog. They think it's either a dog or a jackal.
Yeah.
But it's all like mutilated and sort of
Dead.
skinless
Yeah.
out in the woods.
And they're like, what's this crap? You know, it's kind of, they make a reference to the Bible of it being a devil dog, jackal kind of thing. And
Yeah. So that and the sick ant, who you don't see at this point, you just kind of hear.
And, you know, they don't know because, you know, but we all know that's zombie moans. And but they go upstairs and they come up with this mission. So Ford sends Timbit and Chase out to find just to kind of get a lay of the land. And then Ford and Boy stay back. One thing I want to talk about real quick, because it comes up later, is the Rosenthal character, the Jacob Rosenthal character.
Yeah.
And Boyce are like really close friends. They're like really close friends. They had gone through boot camp and stuff together, it seems, but they're like really close, it seems.
Sure.
You know, so I don't know, but we're gonna come back to that. But those two are running around trying to sneak around, and then Wafner comes back.
Yes.
And they're sitting in the attic, and they're watching Wafner, and Wafner is just, you know, coming to get some of Chloe.
Get some French booty.
And you know, and she's like, I really don't feel good right now, and my aunt's sick, and I need to take care of her. And he's like, okay, well, bring the boys in. You know, and they hear something upstairs, and
because she tells them that her brother is asleep.
yeah, and he's like, he sleeps in the attic. They go, and the kid does a pretty good job pretending to be playing it with his ball upstairs, and they don't have to fight yet. But then he sends the guys off.
The stupid Nazi takes the baseball and
he
hawks a loogie
on it.
Throws it back to the kid.
Yeah, he sucked. But that guy really sucked. But so Wafner gets them to leave and goes, listen, you can either let me bang you or I'm taking your brother to the church. And she's like, fine.
In so many words,
Yep. And then so Boyce has had enough. Boyce can't take this. Goes downstairs and sticks his M1 Garand to the back of his head. And they stop him from, you know, raping Chloe.
Yes.
And so then they bring him upstairs and beat information out of him. Well, they try. They don't even start the beating yet. They just knock him out, bring him upstairs.
Yep.
And then he sends Boyce to go find the other two.
Yes.
Well, the other two double backed at some point and end up back at the house, but Boyce is running around looking for him.
Yep.
And he almost gets bit by a dog.
Oh yeah, the German Shepherd.
Yep, the German Shepherd chases
looks
him.
a little bit. I don't know if you noticed it, or if it seemed to you, but it seemed like he was altered in some way.
It did seem like it was like it could have.
It's not overt though. It's never like.
But, where have I seen a zombie-like dog in a forest before? I kind of felt like saying, "Boyce, this way!" And so he jumps in the back of a truck full of dead Germans, and he gets in there. He's like, "Ooh!" And hides underneath him.
Before that, doesn't he like see a bunch of the Germans bringing out like a truckload of bodies?
Yeah, and they're all disfigured and they're torturing them.
Yeah, they're all like bald and looks like they've spent a few weeks in Chernobyl.
Yeah, we may be getting some zombie serum pumped in them.
Yeah.
Well, bad batch. Try again.
They take the flamethrower and
flamethrow them.
You know, now that right when I thought of that scene, I thought of like this movie has awesome continuity.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, we'll get there, but all right, so we have to just talk about it now because it makes sense. Later on in the movie, Chloe ends up getting a flamethrower. I'm like, how does that make sense? How is there just this flamethrower sitting here? And now when I think about it, it's like, of course, they were flaming the bodies earlier.
And it gets better. That continuity in that part of the movie gets even better. We can get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yes.
So he sees this happen. Then he gets chased by the dog, jumps in the truck, hides by the bodies, ends up in the underground section of the church. A a church with an underground lab. Where if this sounds very familiar to me, and I can't take it. But no, seriously, this whole time thinking like this would be because I had thought about this like earlier this week with Resident Evil 2 coming out recently.
Right.
I thought like, what about like a World War II version of like? I do this with every game. Like, what about a World War II version of Resident Evil? World War II version of Metal Gear Solid? World War II version of whatever?
Yeah.
World War One. But, so it's like okay, there's definitely like homages going on here. You know, there's stuff like this, but he ends up sneaking around and he finds like people in these like weird skin sacks with zippers on them, and these like
these big tube type things going into them, and then like pools of it looked like black tar.
Yeah,
but then he dips his finger in and it's blood.
Yeah. And then he unzips it because that's what you do.
Yeah,
and the guy's like, I kind of hangs. So he's like, "Help me!" He's like, "Well, I'm gonna get out of here." And so he gets out and sneaks away. Then he finds Jacob Rosenthal on a table, and he helps his buddy out and he gets him out of there.
Yeah, he's got this tube thing like attached to his stomach abdomen area.
Yeah, it's like right here, and so I imagine they were feeding him that way.
But it's like stitched on.
It's stitched on, and then there's like there's like a syringe, like probably a 1/4 inch around.
Yeah,
stuck
like,
into him about this far. And then he's got that thing stitched, so he rips it off of him. He's like screaming, but he ends up sneaking him out of there. They do a pretty good job sneaking him out.
Of course, there's the evil main evil scientist, Nazi scientist.
So there is something historically accurate, but there were like, I guess, like some fucked up shit that like Nazi doctors were doing to like. I guess some of it did advance some medicine or something. I don't know. I've never really read into it, just because it like got too grim for me. But
I mean, the most well-known example of fictional Nazi experiment type entertainment is Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is very reminiscent of, I would say, another throwback to Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But there's like a wall of, they're not really doors, they're just like
concrete. They look like cells that were concreted over with little holes in it.
Yeah, little holes, like peepholes.
Yep. And they put food in there and they feed the zombies in there. And the food is a people. And Boyce sees all this and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, you get a jump scare. He's looking through the hole and
you see
an eyeball.
It's like, "Hey, what are you
pops
doing
up
out there?" And but then he gets out of there with Jacob, and they go back to the house. They come up with now. Ford is like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I see you got a little vial of shit. That's great." So then he starts beating up Vafna to get information out of him. Vafna's like, "I'm not telling you shit."
Yeah, he's got a pair of he's got one of those brass knuckles with the
knife
attachment.
And he beats his ass with it for a while.
Yeah.
And
it really bothered me, like the punches, like the shooting in this movie is fine, but like the hand-to-hand combat it reminded me of like an over-the-top 80s action movie.
Which is why I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the hand-to-hand combat. Maybe the scene at the end where you got the Terminator 2 fight when they're slamming each other around. It's like, oh, okay. Or you get like that terrible. Like, I always hated the combat in the Batman movies with Christian Bale. Was just so like robotic.
Yeah.
And it's like, then this like weird shit where he'd like do I'm a little teapot moves.
Well, any live action Batman movie or show, it doesn't quite work because the Batman costume they always come up with is so immobile. Like it looks like, I mean, the animated series is fine because
it's animated.
Yeah. But yeah, the movies I totally understand what you're saying there.
But in any case, so they're beating information. And Boyce was like, "I don't like that you're doing that. I'm going to stop you." And he's like, "No, you're not." And then he's like, "I'm going downstairs." And then he looks at the grandma and he's like, "What the fuck?" And so
yeah, we finally get a peek at the grandma or aunt.
Yeah, the
aunt.
aunt. Yep,
aunt
aunt.
or aunt, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
And she's
zombie
bubbly.
And Chloe's like, I told you he was sick. And so he's like, what else happens then? Oh, I think he actually does that on his way out. He doesn't do it then. He does that on his way out the first time. So they're downstairs and trying to come up with a plan and this and that. So their plan is to go to the church and blow up the tower, and they're going to use like some captured machine gun that Jacob's going to sit on with the sniper to hold off the other guys so that Boyce, Chase, and Ford can get in and do their shit. And so like, okay, but then like, okay, Chase, go do whatever with the guy upstairs. So Chase, like, because they had him hung up along the rafters, like this. So he goes up there and he's got his gun out at him.
But he's playing dead. He's
He's like playing dead. So they unhook him. He falls, and then Chase is like, "Hey guys, I might need some." Oh, the Waffner attacks him, manages to get his gun off of him,
but he's got a bag on his head, so he can't see anything. So he pops some shots off, hits Chase.
Yeah, he shoots him like 3 times in the center mass there, and Boyce comes up and beats him up. No,
because
Boyce comes up and stops him.
Yeah, but Waffner is like shooting all around because he can't see.
He does get him. Tipvit restrains Waffner. They go to try to save
Chase.
Chase. Doesn't work. Boyce is like, I'm real sad about this, and he stabs him with the serum that he brought back with him to show the guys.
Yep, I don't care. I'm just doing
this.
Let's
just see what happens. Then he gets up. and then Waffner's like, do you wanted to see what this stuff did? Now you get to see. And and Chase like, hey, I feel fine. Then he breaks his own neck.
head hurts.
Yeah, my head hurts. That was fucked up.
Slams his head into. Oh yeah. So he slams his head into like a rafter beam.
Yeah.
And then like snaps. Does he snap his head forward or back?
Well, back first, and it breaks. Then he snaps it back forward, and it kind of gets stuck, and his bones are all sticking out all funny.
Yeah, his collarbone is all broken out.
Then they're like, "What did you do to me?" So Ford shoots him, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And then he gets back up. They're like, "What the?" So he's about to kill somebody, and Boyce comes in and bashes his head in, very like you're supposed to do, like a zombie. So in this kerfuffle, though, Waffner makes off with Paul,
the little boy,
and they're running out. Then they get like a typical World War II movie firefight. Waffner gets one in the jaw face,
rips half his face off,
and they take off and Chloe's like, my brother, and she grabs some Stielhandgranatas and or Stickhandgranate. I can't remember exactly how it said. It's the potato mashers. You know what I'm talking about? It's those German grenades where it's got the wood.
Boom.
No, it's the wooden stick with the grenade on top, and they unscrew the bottom and pull it this way and just tomahawk the things.
Oh,
Stielhandgranate, I think they're called.
Yeah, I thought they like popped off.
No. It's like a thing you unscrew on the bottom and pull it.
Oh, okay.
Whereas like the M79? No, that's the gun. What are those pineapple ones?
But they almost look like a flashlight, right?
Well, they look like a potato masher. Like you mash potatoes. That's why they call them potato mashers.
Oh, okay, sure.
And so she grabs a bunch of those and she'll give you a 44. And she's like slams them into Boyce's arms, and it's like, we gotta get his brother. So then we get the whole, okay, we got our mission. We gotta save her brother. Tiffet has a change of heart and says, let's go save the kid. And
because they get like a bond. Like, what's the little boy's name?
Paul.
Yeah, they get like a bond.
Yeah.
Like the boy starts mimicking anything that he does.
Yeah, like Tiffet's trying to be a badass, but the kid wears him down, and it's pretty adorable. But so they convince him to do that. This is where we get the scene now. So their plan is to do what they did before, the same thing, but they're going to go down in the basement and set up the charges there and set up charges in the tower. So Boyce gets them in. The other guys do their job covering the entrance to get them in, to sneak them in and shit. Oh, I forget. Chloe works as a diversion though, and she walks off, and that one Pita or whatever his name is, that shitty Nazi, like chases her on the motorcycle, and like he goes, "Stop right there, Chloe," and she's like, "Oh God, I'm gonna get raped again," and something, you know. So it's just like, so he's like slams her down and whatever, and he's like gonna get fresh with her, and she starts like cackling at him, and I thought that was pretty good. She just starts laughing. He's like, "What?" And then Boyce comes in. Bah!
Once again with
Just comes in.
that's like Boyce's signature move in this movie. He likes bashing people with his gun.
Then they did some fucking Inglorious Bastards ass shit with this guy.
Oh,
They stuck a grenade in his mouth and
Duct taped it.
duct
shut.
taped the pin to his mouth or whatever. So it's like, if they basically set up on a thing where if they pull this pin out, it'll set off these charges that are in the motor car next to it.
So this one logically didn't make sense for me because he drives into the compound, but why would he willingly drive there? Because it's clear that he can control the throttle of the motorcycle because he stops after he gets in, right?
I think his hope was that they would see, because he was trying to show them that he's wired to this bag of bombs.
Sure.
And they were like, "Would you just let me take?" And they go to rip the thing off, because it actually made sense to me. It's like this guy's gonna ride up on a thing, and he's gonna be tied to the thing, and he's gonna have tape on his mouth. You know, basically, yeah. Let's find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and but he's sitting there trying to motion, but he can't point or anything because his hands are tied.
Right.
So he's like trying to motion with his head, and they don't know what he's doing. So when they pull it off, and they see, oh shit,
I can see that. It just. Why risk it? Why risk it?
It's a definite stretch, and it was used more as an action piece, definitely.
And it was cool. I mean,
you could have just like...
I enjoyed the scene, so I'm not really complaining. But
you could have just killed him and stuck the bombs to him and put a timer on it
Sure,
like they did. Or,
sure.
you know, I don't know how much, whatever they used, or they could have timed it, or however. But so anyways, he blows up
everything.
Yeah, that was a pretty good explosion. But again, it's far enough away, so like the CGI wasn't too terrible. You know, it wasn't too bad.
None of the CGI in this movie was terrible.
None of it really.
It was just some stuff you could tell was CGI.
I think they mask a lot of it with just like camera shaking.
Yeah, for sure.
Know, but
chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. So they get in. We forgot this. So before they get there, Vafna gets there with Paul, and he jams himself with all the serum. So the doctor's like, "We've never tried the serum on the living," and he's like, "I don't care. I'm very angry." And he sticks himself with all these needles, and he turns into like
Ubermensch.
He becomes a tyrant.
Yes, he does.
But we're gonna cover talking about Resident Evil in this movie. But so he.
Well, it's cool because he's got his face ripped off or blown off, and
then he smiles. Like
it looks way better than the Thomas Jane Batman Two-Face. Yeah, for sure. But
oh god, that was bad. When I think about that, like Thomas Jane's Two-Face wasn't good.
No,
that's not Thomas Jane. That's Aaron Eckhart.
Yes.
And it wasn't good. He was a good Harvey Dent.
Oh, definitely good Harvey Dent, but just that
when he tried to be like two-faced and crazy at the end, just like it's the most forced shit I had ever seen in my life. But it doesn't matter. That movie is now a decade old. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That movie's a decade old. In any case, so they get in there. Boyce goes downstairs, and he's, rigging up bombs. And Ford's upstairs rigging up bombs. And then the tyrant comes around the corner. He's like, "Hey, remember me?" And he beats Ford up. And I was like, man, Kurt Russell needs to break in and save the day right now.
Yes, he does.
That would have been awesome. He's like, "I'm from C Company. What's going on here?" It would have been so awesome. But they're fighting, and he gets Ford on the ropes pretty good, and he crushes his timer so he can't set off the bombs. So then he goes to
well, he puts Ford on a meat hook.
Well, it goes to back to Boyce first. The doctor attacks Boyce, and Boyce kills him. Boyce finally kills somebody. He killed Chase, but like he kills this doctor and like with like a hand-to-hand combat with the scalpel.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to Chloe. Oh yeah, we forgot the whole Chloe bit. Chloe, because she goes in with them to save her brother, so she leaves them to go save her brother. She kills one Nazi, gets another Nazi to show where the brother is.
Yeah, and there's like a hallway with a bunch of doors, and the Nazi points to one of the doors.
Okay, stop. When they get in, she runs off to go save her brother, and Ford goes, go with her. So she runs off. Boyce ends up going after her. Ford goes up to start setting up bombs. She's kills the one Nazi, says, where's my brother? He goes, he's in there. And she's like, okay. So she's going in. She's like, hello. And there's like a mutilated body on the floor. And she's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm going to shoot this bitch in the back of her. And then Boyce comes in and rifle butts him.
Yes, another
and then,
time.
And she goes, oh my God, thank you. She goes, go get your brother. I have a mission to finish and this and that or whatever. So
when does
he runs off.
When does he run into the other zombie creature?
Who, he or she?
Boyce.
I don't remember. Does he?
Yeah, because there's another fight scene and he blasts it in the head multiple times.
That wasn't Boyce.
It wasn't?
That was Chloe. Boyce runs off to go do his bomb thing. Chloe gets chased by that zombie, right? And so it gets her, and it's like its arm is off, and he's gonna like stab
it's
her.
just like
and so she's like, ugh, and she manages to bend her gun up and shoot him in the head 3 times.
Yeah.
But then it keeps coming after her. That's where she gets the flamethrower that we talked about earlier.
Yes, that's
so
right.
she torches this dude and then runs off. And she had saved Peter at some point in this. I can't remember exactly how that happens. Because she says, Peter, run. And he goes through that same hole that Boyce took Jacob through.
Right.
And so then he runs off to the village. And then she runs off to... she also runs away, too, after she torches the zombie. Before we get back to the other two, back at the village, Tippett and Rosenthal are fighting off a big, giant group of Nazis. And it's, not looking good. And then the kid comes running down the street, and Tippett runs to go save the kid. And he
takes one in the back.
Hold on, takes one in the back. But, they manage to kill a bunch of them. And then she comes around the corner with an MP40, I think is what that is. And she just lights the whole group up. And then they, it doesn't look good for Tippett. But then it goes away from them. Cuts away from them.
Well, and then they have another cute, like, tidbit is like, is the kid okay?
Is the kid okay? Yep.
Yeah. And he's going to live because he just got a...
I thought they were gonna
really
have Tippett be dead at that point.
Yeah. See, I thought of it as like, oh, it's an action movie, like it's a flesh wound.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah.
So goes back to the thing. So this is when we get Waffner comes out and beats Ford up, puts him on a meat hook. Boyce fights off the doctor. Then Ford's getting beat up on the meat hook, and then Ford's getting beat up on the meat hook. Boyce comes in, shoots Waffner 3 times, and then Waffner beats up Boyce and throws him around, throws him through some glass, and it looks like that's going to spell the end for him. But there's a 5% chance that if you're on a meat hook that you'll be able to pull yourself off before the entity takes you.
Yes.
And this is exactly what Ford does. He gets himself off the meat hook, jams himself with the serum. Then you get a Terminator 2 zombie fight where they're smashing each other around the room.
Ubermensch versus Ubermensch.
Yeah, but the serum hasn't had enough time to take on and give all the qualities to Ford. So Ford isn't as strong as the Tyrant version 1 because he hasn't developed as much.
Right.
So they fight a little bit, and he's like, okay, Ford, what do you think of all this power? He's like, it sucks. And then they fight, and then he knocks him over by some canisters, and he rolls one by dude
Boyce
by Waffner. It's by his foot, and Waffner's like, what's this? I got a fucked up face. And Ford gives this look to Boyce, and Boyce is like, I love Tombstone. That movie's great. And he shoots the canister. Blows the dude.
Wait. At some point, doesn't Ford jam a pipe through
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wafner's chest?
He through his back, and he's just like pulls it out of him, and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I'm mad now. He thought I was mad earlier. Oh boy, I'm real mad. Then they fight again, and so he blows him into the goop, and then all the zombies during the exposition, he's like, he goes, what's this research about? Oh, we're making for 1,000-year Reich, we need a 1,000-year army, so they're making super soldiers. And
But yeah, that's where they mention that or Wafner says something to the effect of, it's been running through the village underneath for however long now, and they've never refined it.
yeah, I never thought to refine it.
But that's as much explanation as
Yeah,
you
I
get
don't know
about
what it is.
what this stuff is.
It doesn't make it. So I wonder if this is the Cloverfield aspect of it. Like, what is this shit? Is it the fountain of youth, or does it have to do with like some spirituality within the church? Is it like it's running over some saintly bones that causes the water to have healing properties? Or
Yeah, it could be any of the above.
did they choose poorly? Maybe, you know what I mean? What's that from?
I don't know.
The Last Crusade. Come on.
Oh.
Where the Nazis are trying to get the cup of Christ.
And they melt?
Yeah, and then Doctor the girl, I can't remember her name. I just watched this movie, but she's like, "Here it is," and the guy's like, "Of course, I never thought it would be so beautiful." And he drinks, and the knight's like, "He chose poorly," and the guy melts, and I want to say Ada, but I know that's not it.
Evelyn.
Ava, I think maybe. Ava, honey, you gotta give me your other hand. She's like, I can almost reach it, Indy.
So Wafner rises from the goo,
And all the other zombies are starting to come out of their
rooms,
their
cells.
like it's kind of like
their
mortuary cell things.
Sliding drawers.
Yeah. And they're like, we got to get out of here. So they get over to the door, and he pushes Boyce through and locks the door behind him. He's like, I'm not going anywhere.
And his eyes are starting to get bloodshot and blood rings around his eyes.
He tells Boyce, I wasn't able to set the timer. You got to go set the timer on. You got to go take care of the other one.
In the tower.
And he already did.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is he already put his timer in and everything. I forgot, because he did. That's why the whole thing blew up, because he put his timer in there. He just fought the doctor off. But
that's right. Yeah.
Wafner crushes the time on this other one. And so I forgot, Ford took a lighter from Wafner earlier. They had an SS lighter. So he convinces Boyce to finally leave. And he takes Wafner's lighter and he lights some explosive and blows the whole thing up.
Yep.
Boyce just makes it out of there.
Doesn't he say, like, I think I'm done with this now.
I won't be needing this now. And he just looks at the brick and whatever, and
kaboom.
The whole place goes up. Boyce just makes it out of there. And
that was a really cool, like, scene of him. You get it's a classic, like, him inches away from the explosions behind him as he's making his way. But he makes it.
Oh, yeah. So he gets back. They get to the village. Tiffet's getting worked on by Chloe, and everything seems to be okay. And they're like, did Ford? He's like, nope.
You know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, they're all sitting around thinking that Boyce and Ford are dead. And then Boyce comes all covered in dust and, like, debris, smudges. And they're just like, oh, I guess he's okay. Like, there's no, like, oh, Boyce is alive. Like, no rejoicing, anything like that. They're just like,
Well,
okay.
The one guy was shot on the ground. The other guy had a hole in his side from a tube and a stitch. The other guy, The other thing was a boy who just saw people murdered, and the other one was a girl, wrapping up another guy's arm. So I mean, they probably couldn't all stand at once to go hug him.
They should have.
And plus, when he got there though, and they were like, Jacob got to his feet and this and that, and he just kind of walks by them and sits down because he's just like,
sure. I suppose everyone was just sort of shell shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Settle down. Jeez, this
War.
guy. But the next scene is basically, it's Boyce being debriefed by the commanding officer of the whoever, and he's like, why did you go attack the basement when you could have just attacked the tower?
Yeah, why did you go in when you could have done it from the outside?
And, he said that he gave the same reason. We didn't think we'd be able to hold him off long enough to do whatever. He goes, well, that's a good thing. I wish I could tell your corporal that to his face. And he goes, I wish you could too. He goes, then the guy's like, well, I heard there was a lab down there. And Boy's like, nah, dude, that's not true. I was down there, nothing. It's just if you want to go dig through, it's just a broken control tower.
And is it like voiceover, or does he actually talk to someone about like, oh, we don't, like, we shouldn't have this in our hands either? Like, I thought that's spoken, where he was like, yeah, our side shouldn't have it either.
Yeah, that must have been at the end, yeah. Because they get to the scene, then they're in a tent, and Tippett's playing cards with the boy. Chloe's working on something, and Jake's laying on a thing, too. And, well, guys, we've been rolled into C Company, and Tippett's like, I thought they'd send us home for this shit. Yeah. And then it goes on to some anachronistic, fucking terrible, rappy hip-hop song, and the end of the movie.
Credits roll.
Oh, man, I hate when I don't like when they don't use period music in period pieces.
See, I liked it. I liked in the trailer, I forget what song they used.
I didn't like it.
I liked it because it added this. It made it seem like this movie was going to be sort of like over the top,
ridiculous,
cartoonishly gruesome.
See, I don't want that. Well, I wouldn't have minded that, actually, but I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I would have preferred a more, like, orchestral whatever at the end.
Sure. It is, yeah, that would have fit this movie more because it had its over-the-top moments, but it was more subdued than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much, like, zany monster shit.
Huh?
Which,
I mean, there's some crazy, like, those fucking, they're breaking their own
limbs 'cause
they're too, like,
there's
twitchy.
definitely stuff in there, but it's not like, that's not what the movie was really. I would say it's more war movie than it was like monster horror movie.
I thought it was perfect. And it's funny, like you have this vial of reanimation fluid. Oh, they should have made it green, though. It's like an orangey peach color. I wish it was green. Oh, that would have been more cartoony. But, like, if it would have been green, though, like the reanimation fluid. But, yeah, so I don't know. What'd you think?
I liked it, but not as much as I thought I was going to.
I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I was going to. As a matter of fact, I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to be a dumb movie. I thought it was going to be dumb, but at least it could have been fun. But I was kind of secretly scared that it's going to be dumb and just fucking stupid.
Sure.
And it ended up being, I actually really enjoyed myself watching that movie.
Yeah. I thought it was a little bit long. It's sitting at about an hour and 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah, almost 2 hours. And yeah, that's part of, like, I wish they would have jumped quicker into, like, the evil experiments and, like, spent a little more time on that.
I liked that they didn't because it's, like, more Lovecrafty even that way.
It made it more believable.
Yeah,
I guess.
Like, the delay in it and then the bigger, reveal towards the end. It got, when I start picturing the zombies coming out of the things, I'm getting, like, similar, like, zombie, like, I'm starting to have flashbacks of a very terrible movie right now, though.
What one?
House of the Dead.
Oh,
I'm starting to have, like, flashbacks of that movie, but I thought they did it. I thought they towed the line pretty good, though, between war movie and then a horror movie, kind of a thing.
You know what would have been awesome is if they would have marketed this movie as a war movie and had nothing to do with, never showed anything with, like, the weird
Zombies?
fucked up experiments and all that shit.
Do you know how many people would
Oh
have been
my
pissed?
God, that would have been awesome.
That would have been the coolest thing ever. Oh, that'd have been sweet. So as I'm thinking about this, I wish like the zombies that get pulled out of the morgue would have never showed up, kind of a thing. Like I would have rather seen like more failed experiments.
Yeah.
With the reveal at the end of something, like not even Waffner doing it, but like something else, like
Well, maybe stuff with the bags, like because it seemed like those were the same sort of creatures as whatever was in the morgue slides.
Yeah.
Whatever you call those things. I don't know what
morgue slides.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah,
morgue
sure.
slides.
Yeah.
But I almost think like it would have been cooler. Not necessarily cooler, but I'm just thinking of other ways they could have taken it, like where the Germans lose control of the base.
Oh.
And they go in after that, then you get like a Resident Evil vibe where
Yeah.
it's like so at the end of it when they're setting all the bombs up, they find one of these bags and then you get like a slow like zombie turning his head reveal kind of thing, and then it turns into a shit show after that, as opposed to being more like the evil Waffner guy, kind of a thing. But I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. The action was great. The capturing the chaos, capturing like a war movie aspect of this was really good. But it is still very high action. Like every time, like it's a bunch of headshots.
Yeah,
and
it teeters that line of being realistic and zany, like.
Well, two guys with a machine gun and a sniper
I don't
rifle
know.
hold off like 48 Germans, and so it's definitely like a high action, high octane thrill ride. But there are parts of it where it seems like a genuine war movie, and then there are parts of it it's just like, man, where's Sylvester Stallone? So like,
yeah, it really teeters that line.
But they do such a good job of balancing that,
for sure.
And it's like you get to it, you're like, come on, I'm having fun though. And
right.
So I'll go as high as a silver for that fact, because they're able to like make this movie a war, action, horror movie, all at the same time with just skating shit. I mean, it's like they're on the thinnest of ice, and they never break through it.
It could have very easily been like as cheesy and B-movie-esque as like Iron Sky.
Yeah.
But it's not. It never crosses too far.
Yeah. Nope. So it starts off like, holy shit, great war movie, and then it's like, okay, it's getting a little fantastic here. It's and then they're just about to fall through the ice on this thin ice they're skating on, and then the movie ends. It's just like, it was like,
yes.
I mean, it's masterful when you think about it, that they took an hour and 50 minutes and never derailed it.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
I'm going to give them a high silver because they didn't derail the movie.
That's a very good point. There were so many opportunities where this could have just been like, oh my god.
I mean, and it's got a couple oh my god parts, but they're forgivable.
Yeah.
It's not a 20-minute story in Silent Hill. It's not the entire Resident Evil movie franchise. It's
well, because they never really linger too long on any given like
moment
or like transitioning from like war movie into horror movie. Like it never spends too much time doing one or the other.
Yeah, because it starts off war movie.
Yeah.
Then it gets into more espionage kind of war movie stuff. Then it gets into what the fuck is going on shit, and it kind of stays. Oh, it's just getting weirder.
Yeah.
So it's just like they're on a nice thick patch of ice skating along. It's like, because I'm enjoying this war movie. Then it's like, oh, what's this zombie thing? It's bag zombies. It's just like you put them in the microwave for 5 minutes and they're good, but then they're good.
Yeah, it goes back and forth really well,
but it does have a cheesy. What's that movie with Emily Blunt and her husband?
Quiet Place.
It does have a kind of a cheesy ending where it's just like at the end. It's like we got a mission to complete at the end, kind of a thing. It's just like I would have preferred just a crane shot leaving them in their tent. See you later.
Sure,
but whatever.
Acting was good overall.
I would say great overall. All the acting to me was very good.
Yeah.
Nobody was too over the top or unbelievable. Like
Wyatt Russell felt a little bit flat to me. That was the only character where it's like, okay, this guy's trying to be too like action movie hero.
See, I thought he did a good job of trying to be like like in war, you have to make especially when you're like a corporal captain, you have to make shitty decisions.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a good job of portraying that kind of thing where you have to do like when she's about to get banged, he's like, no, you have to be quiet. I mean, it's terrible that he would let this happen to this girl, but it's like if they get caught, they're not going to take this tower out, and thousands of American soldiers are going to die. So one girl, 1,000 soldiers. He has to make these decisions. Boyce can't.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like Tidbits and Ford were the two characters where it almost lost me because they're very stereotypical character archetypes where it's like Tidbits is the East Coast, like
Tivit is like, he's
very much the cliche war
movie smartass.
Yes. And Ford is very much the captain hard ass who does questionable things that you don't really like him for, but he's still like a good guy. He's that character. Yeah, and it's just very generic.
I thought his acting was good though. I thought like the character archetype I'll give you is generic, but like I thought he did a good job portraying it.
Yeah.
And same with Tibbet. I thought their acting as those characters was fine.
Yeah.
But the characters that were written could be like flat and over the top kind of a thing.
Sure.
Rosenthal was convincing. Boyce was convincing. I like Boyce. That guy can act.
Yeah, for sure.
I like Boyce a lot. Chloe can act. Like, I mean, this is just a goofball fucking World War II horror movie, but I could see any of these people being in something serious. Any of them.
Sure.
Waffner, even, like, I thought he was the most over top of all of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like, he was almost, what's that German actor's name that was in Inglourious Bastards and Django?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name. But yeah, he is that villainous archetype, but he's
almost like the Red Skull, but more playful. He's like if the Red Skull was trying to cosplay Joker.
Sure.
But he messed up and made Two-Face.
Yeah,
I mean, so serious.
I would go with High Silver. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go gold or anything like that, but even High Silver is pretty high. But it's just so amazing that it wasn't a complete pile of shit. I mean, everything about this movie should just be fucking bad.
Yeah.
But they did a very good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
It's on digital now. You can watch it. I'm not sure when the physical copy is released, but
check it out.
Yeah, check it out. If you're a fan of war movies or horror movies or both, it's got both.
Yep.
And they're both well done. Yeah. So
it's a good.
You won't be disappointed with either.
No. Maybe we're really wrong about this, but man, I had fun with that movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's good when I'm not like on the couch like trying not to doze off after a long day.
Yeah,
at
especially
work.
being an hour and 50 minute movie.
It kept my attention. So there's a caveat to this whole thing.
Okay. It was actually an awful movie. No.
That you gave it a high silver makes me confident that I'm right. But it's a World War II movie. So I watch every World War II movie, every hockey movie, and every boxing movie, and I generally enjoy all of them.
Sure.
And so if it's like I can't be a judge of a movie like this, maybe because if there's a Bollywood hockey movie about these Canadian guys that his dad wants him to take over his uncle's business, but he wants to be a hockey player. There's a Bollywood figure skating dance number in this. I watched that whole movie, and if it was on right now, I'd watch it. But I don't know if I'd turn it on purpose, but I enjoyed myself watching it.
All right, get at us on Twitter at ScreamFiends. Let us know what you thought of Overlord. And yeah, 7voltmedia.com, iTunes,
Google Plays, right?
Google Play. Patreon.com/ScreamFiends. If you want to support us monetarily, you can feel free to do so. We would love your support.
Yep. Chipotle is good. We would eat it with your money.
And from us at Scream Fiends, so long and farewell.